YouTubers. That's MJ! What's up, guys? So we're going to be talking about today about episode 100 and where they left us off there. MJ and I did a video early this week about just how awesome and lit episode 100 was. So if you haven't seen that video, please make sure to go check that out because, oh my freaking god, that episode was awesome. But one of the things I decided not to talk about in that video and decided just to do a separate video on was they left us off with basically Goku and Jiren just kind of giving each other just another stare down. And this is the second one they've done in this entire tournament. But the episode preview and all this stuff that they've been talking about, obviously if you haven't seen the episode, if you haven't seen the leaks that have come out from the TV guide stuff and all that other stuff, then please make sure to click off this video, come back another time or something, because obviously we're going to potentially get into spoiler territory here, just kind of saying fair warning. Basically, what we've seen thus far though, is Goku is going to be fighting the Pride Troopers along with 17 and 18 based off the episode preview. They've said that Jiren's going to put the Pride Troopers on Goku. One of the Pride Troopers is actually out of the tournament, so they only got 9 people left, just like Universe 7. But I'm wondering, as awesome as episode 100 was, I think they did the same thing that Dragon Ball Z used to do back in the old days, and it was just kind of one of the things that brought me back into my childhood watching that freaking episode was, you know they're cock blocking us. You know they're sitting there giving you that stare down, that epic, like, you know, final, really well art, like the artistry of that, you know, epic final where they're just staring each other down and it's like the foreground and the background and all this other stuff. And you're sitting there going, next time on Dragon Ball Z, you know, flashbacks. But it ain't happening. We know that it's at least not next episode. You know they're not going to be fighting, and I'm just wondering, man, how long do you think they're going to cock block us? How long do you think they're going to let us sit and wait and wonder when Goku and Jiren are actually going to fight in this tournament?
Well, going off the preview, they didn't really show us Goku and Jiren, at least to my knowledge. I don't remember. They showed us a lot of Casserole versus 17 and 18. Which that's really cool. So it looks like we're going to be getting a lot of Pride Trooper action. You know what I mean? That sounds like a horrible porn name, Pride Trooper action. Now, but anyways, I watch a lot of weird porn. Forgive me, guys. But anyway, so it seems like they may be pushing it off. 101. That does not seem like a number to start Jiren versus, you know, Jiren versus Goku. You know what I mean? It just sounds very odd. Like, I think 10 was the start of the Goku versus Beerus fight, if I remember correctly. I think episode 50 was when Goku first met Goku Black, you know. Hit versus Vegeta started on an even number 2. So it just seems like 101's a weird number to start the epic Goku versus Goku versus Jiren, my bad, in the Tournament of Power. Plus, we talked about this in another video on my channel about Universe 4, about how they're just characters that have not been introduced yet, and they're silhouettes, so there's no way this tournament is ending any goddamn time soon, you know what I mean? There's still a lot of time for this tournament to be fleshed out. A lot of characters haven't been introduced yet. We don't even have full names for all the characters yet, so they're definitely pushing Goku versus Jiren. Now, I don't see these guys touching until like 105 or 110. And 105 at the fucking earliest, you know what I mean? I think that's probably when they'll most likely throw down. If we're going to get the official throwdown, you know what I mean? We could probably get like Goku Blue or something versus Jiren or whatever, you know what I mean? And plus, I mean, the promotional material that came out on Dragon Ball Super's website, there's still that to go off of. This whole thing, this whole fight, this whole epic whatever's going to happen between Goku and Jiren, it ain't happening anytime soon.
Yeah, and honestly, if you want to go for like a significant number, the next one I can think of, although this is a long time away. I mean, we're talking months, and we don't necessarily know how long this is actually going to last. We don't know how long this show is going to be on doing this tournament, honestly. But it could be an epically long tournament, which I would be totally okay with. But I'm just saying, the next significant number, I think, you know, 105 is fine, 110 is fine too. And that might be pushing it a little for a lot of people, but I think 117 would be awesome because you got 11 versus 7, 117. Goku and Jiren go at it. But we're talking like that. We're talking like that's on like half a year almost. Like, seriously, with breaks, all this other stuff, that's a long time to wait for Goku and Jiren to fight each other. Now, of course, like you said, we have people from Universe 6 who haven't been introduced. People from Universe 4 haven't been introduced. People from Universe 2 haven't been introduced. We have a lot of stuff to cover here, and they could take their time, give us epic fights every single week. we could see Vegeta versus Hit, or Jiren versus Hit, Vegeta versus Topo, Gohan versus anybody, really, at this point. And they could just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. They can keep giving us more and more stuff. I mean, they didn't even eliminate Kale in this last episode. So she could potentially turn back. I don't think so. I mean, who knows? I mean, if they didn't eliminate her, I just at least hope or imagine that they will be kind of pushing off the idea that she'll come back in one way or another. And I think even you were saying, when we were talking the other day, you were saying that maybe this is how she kind of becomes more of a controlled form of herself instead of a berserker mode. I think that was you who told me that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
So, like, you could still use Kale doing that type of power, giving her that power boost, but controlled and not necessarily stopping the entire tournament around that power and everyone just freaking out about it, and put Universe 6 just on that much more of a tier type of we're going to win universe, and you could push it out for 17 more episodes. People might get bored of that, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, they definitely can. The material's there because, like, Goku even still seems interested in fighting Topo going out the last few episodes, so we could even get a rematch with Goku and Topo. Hell, that's what we could be getting. Like, Casserole could be going after 17, 18, and then, you could have Goku versus Topo, and that could go in for, like, 2 to 3 episodes, you know what I mean? Because we know how strong Topo is, so there's so much stuff you can do there. Vegeta versus Hit. There's so much that could still happen in this tournament before we get to that final battle. You know what I mean? There's so much that they could still do. I mean, we could still get a potential Vegeta versus Kel, before we get to the final fight, of Goku versus Jiren, or if that is even the final fight. Because think about it, in episode 100, Vegeta didn't interact with Kel whatsoever, like, at all. You think there could be, maybe there's a reason for that, you know what I mean? Maybe they're going to interact sooner than later, so I just think there's so much that Toei can do. There's so much the writers can do, Toriyama, Toyotaro, there's so much that they can do before we get to that, to the whole Goku versus Jiren. It is being built as a heavily anticipated fight. Like, we have Jiren, we have Goku, who shoots a Kamehameha at Kel. She walks through it, grabs him by the face, takes his manhood away from him, throws him to the ground, and then you have Jiren come over here with just one single ki blast and just like, it's over. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's like, this whole fight is like, and then of course the intro, the outro, it's like heavily teases. This is being heavily anticipated. This is like McGregor versus Mayweather right here. You know what I mean? Or Goku versus Cell. I mean, I remember when we were watching the Cell arc, my friends and I back during the day, during that whole fucking filler, those 10 days or 9 days, whatever it was, we were just waiting for Goku versus Cell, like, that was just the anticipated fight, so here I can see them definitely pushing it off. And to be honest, they have the material for it, you know what I mean? And people may hate it, people may not want to wait that long, like you said, 117 or even 110 for that matter, but they can do it, I think. I mean, they definitely have the ability to hold it off. Is that right though? Like, would you actually enjoy that if they held it off?
That's actually what I was going to ask you.
Oh,
going up, but no, I agree with you. Like, I don't necessarily know personally. Like I've said, I've argued in a lot of videos, and I've seen a split in the comment section below on both my videos and your videos, and other people's videos, that it's just too much of a build-up. Some of the fights aren't necessarily as good as we want them to be. This is just kind of too chaotic, all this other stuff. And I completely understand where that's coming from. One of the things I've argued, too, myself is, there's so many characters that are cannon fodder here for other characters who are going to get, like, an entire episode to fight, if not longer, because Dragon Ball Super doesn't have long fights. We haven't seen, like, a fight last 5, 10, 15 episodes. We've seen usually fights last like maybe 2 episodes, where it's like starts at the tail end of one episode, goes for an entire episode, and then usually takes up like half the episode for the last time. So we haven't seen that. I don't necessarily know how long the Jiren and Goku fight's actually going to be, but waiting 17 more episodes to get the fight, let alone 5 or 10 or something else like that, I have to say, like, I feel like there's going to be a handful of people who start to get irritated. And I wonder what it's going to do to the ratings, especially if they keep promoting it, especially if they keep just, jobbing us every single time we want to see this, they go, well, yeah, it's coming, but, you know, you have to wait a couple more weeks. And it's like, we just want to see that fight. And if it doesn't deliver, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to be mad because they waited so long. But just in my general opinion, as someone who really likes the show, I'm excited, man. Like, I am, like, this whole tournament, all the potential possibilities, we haven't seen anyone of real significant importance get kicked off yet. And episode 100 was epic. And if they keep going in that same pace, whenever there's a character fighting another character in such a way that's going to push the story forward or give us a nice character moment like we saw with Kale and Caulifla and Goku in episode 100, not to even mention what we got to see from Android 17, 18, and Krillin, Master Roshi, and Hit.
Yeah.
Like, or even Kaba and Vegeta. It's like, if that's the stuff that they're planning on giving us episode after episode, and they want us to wait for episode 117 just because you get that little number wink and a nod to, you know, this is Universe 7 versus Universe 11, we're going at each other at this time, I would be okay with it. Just me as a fan of Dragon Ball Super, I would be okay with it.
I mean, like I said, think about this for an example. These are not actual spoilers, titles, or leaks. Think about like this for an example. Episode 102, Universe 6 and Universe 7 Saiyans unite. Pride Troopers, come on, right? Exclamation point. And then episode 103, Vegeta challenges Hito, the epic rematch. And, you know, and then that continues for like all the way to episode 106. You know what I mean? And then we get to 107. The Berserker is back. But the form is not. But the form is. You know, you can keep going on. There's so much you can fucking do with these characters. Oh, and then, you know, episode 110. You know what I mean? Topo versus Goku. You know, Justice versus Evil, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? You could definitely do so much stuff here, and we're just talking about the characters we know so far. What about the characters we don't know? You know what I mean? And then we haven't even talked about the possibility of them cutting back to the island. You know what I mean? I understand, guys, 117 or even 110 may seem long to you, but they have the material to push this shit back. Hell, I would even kill to get some, like, get like a little filler moment where we go back to Earth and we have like Yamcha like just doing some crazy bullshit. Him and Bulma shenanigans with the peel-off gang or something. I would like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, they got so much they can do. I know 110, 117 seems like a long time, but with what we've been getting, even if we're not getting episode 100 material every single week, 97, 98, I mean, those were decent episodes. They weren't bad. You know what I mean? They were just decent. They weren't bad. They didn't really make me want to go on Twitter and rant. You know what I mean? They weren't horrible episodes. They were just decent to average. So if we're getting episodes like that at the meantime, you know what I mean? That's cool. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't think every episode will be like episode 100, even though I wish it would be, but my point is, they have the material, they have the characters, they obviously have the time. I don't see what the hell could be rushing Toei to do this fight, you know. So I mean, they dragged Blake, Dressrosa arc, one of the best arcs in One Piece by a lot of people's opinion. Toei dragged that arc for 3 years. It was on 3 years television time. I'm not saying they need to drag this tournament that long. I'm just saying there's really no rush here. The manga's not caught up. There's no reason for them to really just make this fight happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
I like the idea of doing the cutaways. We've talked about that as well on this channel and yours. It's a smart move because don't you want to, considering all of the stakes going into this tournament and everything we saw back in Dragon Ball Z, one of the things we got whenever there was a huge amount of like, oh my god, like if Goku doesn't win, you know, if Goku can't do it, nobody can, or if Gohan can't do it, nobody can, or whatever. Whenever you got boiled down to that moment, you had everyone onlooking, and I know a lot of people who are of importance are at the tournament itself, and you want, like, Whis is always just someone awesome to see him react about everything that he can't control is just hilarious. But one of the things I want is I want everyone on the lookout again. Bulma, Yamcha, Chi-Chi, Ox King, Goten, Trunks, Marin, all these other people on looking, as if it is going to boil down to Jiren versus Goku for the fate of the universe. Like, I want everyone there, man. I want everyone sitting there with freaking GodTube at their side or something, just watching all of this play out. And if we don't get it, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't think the arc's going to suffer for that, but I mean, it's just such an easy way for them to elongate the arc while giving us just enough stuff to give us just that much more of a kicking in our ass moment when we actually get there, to give us the feels, to give us all the nostalgia boost that we need, and just put us in such an amazing mood that we just go on YouTube or on Discord or Skype or Twitter or any other social media site and just go, if you're not watching Dragon Ball Super right now, you really should be, because it is must-watch television.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I say this all the time. I see the flaws in Super. I'm not a fucking idiot. When I watch the show, I see the flaws in Super. My thing is, I just don't go on Twitter and rant about every single flaw that's in the episode. I myself have come to the conclusion that Super really is just a fighting show. That's really all it is. It's not Attack on Titan. You're not going to be getting that type of shit. You know what I mean? It's not My Hero Academia. It's not any of that. So what I do is when I sit down and watch Super, just like how I did with the Power Rangers movie, I sit down, relax, I got my drink with me, I watch the fucking show, I enjoy it, get off. And so far, almost every episode, the Tournament of Power, or the Universe Survival arc, excuse me, I've sat down, enjoyed the show. So yeah, I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah, I am too. So if they want to keep pushing it out, that's fine. Give them more time to think about what's next. I think that's always the perfect thing. Remember, they came up with the Future Trunks arc as everything else was going on, and as basically the Champa arc started, or was starting, they were coming up with that arc, and then they got to the Future Trunks arc. At the point before this arc, the Future Trunks arc was the longest arc in Dragon Ball Super. Obviously, they were working on this arc, at least story-wise, as they were actually producing the Future Trunks arc. And you've seen the quality time. Like, when Toriyama and everyone has enough time to actually flesh out a story, then you see how it works. You see how much time and thought and passion went into it from everyone involved. So the longer this arc goes, I'm not saying, I'm not like, this isn't a confirmed thing, but it's like, I'm just saying, I don't see Dragon Ball Super going anywhere anytime soon. We know there's a lot of story left to be told after this. It would give them time to come up with something even better. And at this point, honestly, just for my sake, nostalgia, going back to being a kid again and everything else, Dragon Ball Super is at its height right now. I have never thought it was going to be this good, like, I can't miss one episode, and I watch it religiously. Like,
oh yeah,
I watch it like religiously at the same time every week, and I don't ever feel like, oh, I can wait a day or two. No. I need to watch it now, and I need to dissect it, and I need to come up with like cool concepts. Like, what did they bring up this week that we could talk about? What can we fill the week up with, just little lines or little things that we saw and all this other stuff? So if they want to push out this Goku versus Jiren fight, I'm absolutely fine for it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I agree with you on everything.
And that's usually what happens. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it at that. Please make sure to go to the description section below and click that link. Make sure to go check out MJ if you haven't already. The guy makes some really awesome content for you guys. Don't forget to comment your thoughts and opinions on whether or not they're going to draw the Jiren versus Goku fight. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time that I upload. And with that being said, guys, we're gonna leave it there. Hope you have a good day. It's been real.